Welcome back to Just Scribble. Today I wanted to share something a little bit different with you guys. This is my new recipe book that I picked up at Target, and I wanted to open it up, check it out, share it with you guys, and talk to you guys a little bit about why I bought it. So many of you may feel the same way, but as a mom, one of the hardest things in life is coming up with your ideas for your weekly dinners and keeping it interesting and changing it up. And even though I have a lot of cookbooks with amazing recipes, and I have a lot of recipes that I know by heart that I've been making since I was a child, I do rely heavily on recipes from the internet to keep it fresh, keep it interesting, change things up, and just keep a variety in our meal plans. And although I can obviously open up the recipe on my phone or on my iPad and I can have that next to me while I'm cooking, I do much better with a printed version of the recipe, partly because my phone always goes to sleep or my iPad goes to sleep while I'm cooking and I keep having to click on it and open it back up. I also like to have it printed because then if we like it, I can keep it and we can use it again. And if I make changes or find that we like to do something different in the recipe, I can make notes on them as well. And so I rely a lot on internet recipes, and I actually rely primarily on 4 specific websites. So The Cozy Cook, Half Baked Harvest, Downshiftology, and Taste Better from Scratch are the 4 sites that I use the most for recipes, but I do use other websites as well. Those are just kind of the 4 that we go to the most, or if I'm looking for a recipe that's a specific type of recipe, those are the ones that I search first. But one of the difficult things about that is retaining those printed recipes. I obviously could just stick them in a folder, I could hole punch them, stick them in the binder, I could write them down in some of my recipe books that I have. There are lots of options to retain the recipes, but when I was at Target recently, I stumbled upon this recipe book and I thought that this might be a really good solution for my recipe arsenal for our weekly meals. So I decided to pick it up and share it with you guys. Now, before we open it up, I did want to say that I could totally make this myself. There are binders that are set up in this same kind of format that you can buy on Amazon or at office supply stores, and I totally could have done that. But there's some extra features that come with this that for me were worth buying it already like pre-set up versus setting it up myself. The other thing I did want to mention is that in the comments, like the reviews that I read on this online, most of the people really loved it, but they wished that there were more page protector inserts, and we're going to check that out. And so I did actually buy some, like a set on Amazon, and I will have this linked in my Amazon storefront down below if you need them as well for a recipe binder or some other binder. But I did buy some on Amazon that I think will work in this because they didn't have like extra insert or extra page sleeves for sale on the Target website. And then I looked at Tabitha's website and I did not find anything there either. So I did want to mention that you could totally make this yourself and DIY it. And if you like the idea and you don't want to buy it, you could totally do that. And then if you need extra page sleeves, either for your DIY or for the one from Tabitha, you could get them on Amazon. I think we're going to make sure that they work. But this is the recipe binder. It's going to be a little bit hard to show on the screen because it is quite large. So it is, let me grab one of these pages. So it is larger than a letter size piece of paper. It is quite a bit taller, and then it is wider as well. So it is quite large. So I'm going to do the best I can to show it on the screen in all of its glory and show you guys how it works and what's included. But just know that this is actually quite large, but there are reasons why I actually appreciate that and I'm excited for it. So this is a sort of collab, I guess, with Target with Tabitha Brown. It has a magnetic closure so that you can use it standing up, which is the feature that drew me to this concept versus using a regular binder. And it is 9.5 inches by 17 inches or 24.13 centimeters by 35.56 centimeters. It is a recipe binder. Oh, I'm not going to take that off right now. I'll get some undo or some Windex because I can't get that sticker off. But it is a recipe binder and it has these beautiful illustrations of fruits and vegetables on it. And it has an elastic closure at the bottom. And then when you open it up, it does have, let's take this little sleeve thing off. It does have a little thank you from Tabitha, and then it tells you what it includes. So it's a 3-ring binder with 24 recipe cards, 24 recipe sheets with protective sleeves, 10 dividers with sticker sheet, a magnetic stand, and an elastic closure. And then on the inside front cover, it has her pantry, fridge, and cabinet staples, and then her herb staples. So if you can see that there. And she does have a website and a cookbook and all of that. And there's a piece of cardboard in here. Let me... And then on the back side, it has a universal conversion chart. So it has oven temperatures and measurements. And then there's this sort of triangular part that's magnetic. And that is what holds it up so that you can use it while you're cooking. So it forms like a triangle, if you can see that. Then the rings are at the top, and then your pages hang down so that way while you're cooking, your recipe is right there in front of you and you can see it. Now I will say it doesn't seem to magnetize very well, but maybe it's user error on my part. I'll have to kind of play with it a little bit, but it does hold its shape. It just doesn't seem to magnetize as well as I kind of thought it would. So let me make it not a triangle. And stick that big piece up there. All right, so it comes with dividers. So you get 10 dividers. There's tabs at the bottom of each divider, and they're all different colors with different offsetting colors for the tabs. So you have 10 tabs, 2 of each colorway. And then you have the page sleeves. Let me open this up. So these are the page sleeves. They have a 3-hole punch at the top and then a little slip that you can slip your recipe into. And let's open up the ones I bought on Amazon. I do have a recipe book from RT that from the Food Network that I love, that's like for your favorite family recipes, but that's for transcribing recipes, and I don't generally do that until something that we really want to retain and that I would want to give my son when he gets older and things like that. So this is nice for being able to like do seasonal recipes and the recipes that you want to use for, you know, just weeknight cooking and stuff like that, in my opinion. So this is the one from Tabitha, and this is the one from Amazon. So the Amazon one, the one difference is it opens sideways instead of at the top, which does not bother me and I don't think impacts the way it would be used. The holes line up. It just has like a white section at the top instead of clear, and they are the same size. So you can definitely use these Amazon ones to add more, since there's only 24 that come in this little set. And after the page dividers, there are some recipe sheets where you can write recipes. So there's a place for the recipe, and on the back it has the dish, your ratings, the difficulty, the ingredients, hints, tips, and tricks goes great with. So you fill all that out, and then the recipe goes on the back, and it is perforated, if you can see that. So you can tear these pages and then put them into the page sleeves, so you don't have to use these unprotected. That's another thing I liked about this setup, is that you had the page sleeves so that when you're cooking, the recipe doesn't get all gross and messed up. So you have recipe sheets in a few different colors that coordinate with everything else in here. And then inside these two page sleeves, you have ones that have already been torn off. And then we have some more page sleeves. And then in the back, you have additional page sleeves for recipe cards. So these are cut in half. So these are different than the ones that I bought on Amazon. And they hold recipe cards. So you have your recipe, the number it serves, prep time, cook time, ingredients, notes, that kind of information. And so you can fill these out. So these would be great for the recipes that you just know, so that you could document them. That way your husband can cook, or your kiddo can cook, or there's recipes that your grandmother or your mom do that you love. You can have them copy them down, or you can write them down. And then, and then you would have those available in here as well. And then in the very back, it has a smaller sheet that has stickers. So these are to label the dividers. So you have From My Spirit, Favorites, Mama's Recipes, Grandma's Dishes, Breakfast, Brunch, Pizza and Good Stuff, Meatless, Main Dishes, Burgers, Sandwiches, Tacos, Appetizers and Sides, Salads and soups and salads, sweet treats, fresh juices, casseroles, slow cooker, air fryer, smoothies, and then you have blank ones so that you can label them yourself. And so you have a little place for your labels, and then you have your cards, and then you have your sleeves for your recipes that you print out. So that is what you get. Let me put this back together a little bit. I have three extra blank ones that are divided. I will put the link to this down below in case you wanted to snag one. And then of course, like I said, you can DIY. So if you guys want links to the things that I found online where you could DIY one, I can put that as well. So the way we do our meal planning is that we always ensure that every week we have a seafood dish, a chicken dish, a pork dish, and a beef dish or venison, because we hunt. So we cook venison a lot. And so we have those 4 things every single week. And then the other nights we fill in with other things, sometimes being like eggs and breakfast, or a second pork night, or a second chicken night, or a second seafood night. And then of course, sometimes we have takeout, or we go out to eat, or we have an event or something like that. So we always have our 4 things. We always have our seafood, poultry, pork, and red meat. And so I will probably organize these in that way so that I have a tab for the 4 like protein choices that we do most. And then I would use the 5th one for like eggs, I think, or a no meat or a meatless option. And then I don't know what I would use the other 5 sections for. I'll probably add to it as I go. So that's probably how I'm going to organize it, but I'm not going to put the tabs on yet or organize it yet. I mostly wanted to share this with you guys, and I wanted to move some recipes into it so that I could take them off of the little thing that we have on our fridge, the little clip where I had them clipped. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to move some of these in, and we'll use some of the Amazon pockets as well, because I think I'm going to have more than what I need. The other thing that we do is I plan our menu for the week. I write it on a whiteboard that we have on our fridge, and that way my husband can decide when he gets home what he wants to have that day, and then it comes off the list. And so I don't necessarily plan Monday night is Mongolian beef noodles, and Tuesday night is spaghetti, and Wednesday I plan the menu for the week, and then they select from it, and then that choice goes away, and then they have the next choice to choose from, and so on. I find that that works better. That way, if people feel like a certain something one day and they're not feeling like something else, they get something that they feel like. So maybe they're having a chicken day and they really want poultry, but also means that as they go through the week, they run out of choices. And I find that that works the best for us. So that's what we do. I used to not write it down, and I would just write it in my planner, which I write it in my planner as well, because that way I can use it for grocery shopping and remembering what I need to take out to defrost, things like that. But I have found that putting the recipe or putting the meal plan on our fridge works really well for us, because that way everyone seems to be happy and they can kind of select from it. And then if there's something that they request, we add that to the list for the week. And if there's something that they request for the next week, I write it down in my planner. That way I don't forget. So I'm just going to put these in sleeves. I'll probably fast forward this just so you guys don't have to sit and watch me try to fuss with the little plastic sleeve. But I wanted to get these recipes into the little sleeves and get them into the binder so we could start using it. My husband was not necessarily keen on this new recipe binder because he's like, we don't need more stuff in our house. However, the loose papers were driving me crazy, and I wanted to be able to keep the recipes that we really like that I had found online. So I don't have to bookmark them on my phone, and I don't have to remember like where I found them. So that's helpful. And then sometimes people ask for ideas like on Instagram and stuff, and I can refer them to the place that I got it because I have the recipe saved. I just find if I bookmark a bunch of stuff on my phone, I never go back to it because there's too many bookmarks and it's hard to keep track and keep organized. And I also feel like we're on our devices way too much. So I try to limit that by printing things out and writing things down in my planner and not being on my device all the time. All right, so I'm going to fast forward this, and then I will do a flip through once I've got it done, and then I will let you go. Okay, so I have everything in here. I did add all the extra page sleeves that I bought on Amazon. And then of course I have not organized and like tabbed yet, but I will do that. I may take these out, the little paper ones, and just store them because I don't know how often I'm going to use those in this setup. I really wanted this for recipes that I print, that I refer to for like weekly dinners. I will say I think I almost like the page sleeves from Amazon better. They were easier to get the pages into, but that may have just been me. I also think that if you did a DIY system of this, because you don't necessarily need the dividers, but you could totally make them yourself. You could make like seasonal ones so that you have one for summer, one for winter, etc. Because I don't know about you guys, but our menus are different in the winter than they are in the summer. We like things that are lighter in the summer, and then oftentimes because there's no school, we can do things that are a little bit more complicated. Whereas during the school year, it needs to be simpler, and during the winter, we want it to be cozy. And so you could completely make like 4 different binders and have seasonal recipes. That way you'd have a place for recipes that you want to use for the holidays and things like that as well. I think that would be really good. And like I said, you can get binders that do this stand-up thing on Amazon or at an office supply store. So you could totally do it yourself, and then you could label it, and it would be really, really nice. But for my first go at this style to see if I like it, I like the fact that I got it kind of pre-set up, and I got all of the little add-ons and extras in case I need them or want them. But I may take these out just so that it's not quite so thick. But let me stand it up. So in my kitchen, and it's going to be hard for you to see on the screen, but it would sit like this. And so when I was using our chicken piccata recipe, I would have this. Yeah, see, the magnet is not very strong. I may have to do something about that. But it stays up even without that, so it may not be an issue, but it's not as strong as I would have anticipated it being. So that may be another reason to DIY it yourself. And if that's something you guys are interested in, I'll buy one and I'll check it out and I'll compare it. But the recipe is right here, and I have it, and it's easy to see, and it's protected so it won't get dirty or messy, and I can take the pages out, make notes, things like that. So let me flip through the recipes just in case you guys are interested in seeing the recipes. They are not organized. I do have a couple that I didn't add because we haven't done them yet, and they were like dessert kind of recipes, and so I haven't added those yet. But the rest of them are in here, and hopefully you can kind of see on the screen. I'm going to do this as best as I can. But this is Mongolian beef, and then we have beef bulgogi bowls. I don't know exactly how you say that. We have teriyaki chicken. This is a favorite in our house, and easy teriyaki sauce that we use. Chicken cordon bleu, also a favorite. General Tso's chicken, chicken piccata, hamburger helper. We have a few hamburger helper recipes in here, but I actually did a combination of these 3. So what I have to do is go back and take notes or make notes on this one of the things I took from the other 2 recipes, and then I'll take the other 2 out so that I only have 1. Sheet pan fajitas, pulled pork nachos, shredded pork with chili sauce, how to make pulled pork, carnitas, mini sweet potato, cheddar, and chorizo shepherd pie. We actually haven't tried this recipe yet, and this is not for family dinners. This is for my lunches. I think it sounds amazing. So I printed it out actually on Friday, and so I'm going to be making this soon. Probably not this week, but in a future week, I'm going to make it for lunches for myself. Skillet lasagna, pasta alla norma, creamy roasted tomato ricotta pasta with crispy prosciutto. We made a version of this the other night, and it was so good. Grilled Hawaiian chicken teriyaki bowls. We had this week, and it was delicious. Everyone loved it, and you get all your vegetables, which is awesome. So it was super easy and easy to serve because it was all kind of like in one dish. And then coconut rice, which is what we paired with those teriyaki bowls. Honey garlic shrimp. That was also really good. Crispy tacos with cilantro, lime, bacon, slaw. My husband loved this, and I have a note here for the lime crema that we used with it. Cottage pie or shepherd's pie. So cottage pie just has cheese on top, or that's my understanding is the difference between the 2. But I actually made this for my husband to take on a trip, so they could just pop it in the oven when they got there, and all the guys loved it. It was great. and then another shepherd's pie recipe. I kind of combined the two. So once again, I'll make notes on this one of the things I took from this, and then I'll only have one in here. And then I have my extras, the tabs so I can organize, and then the extra pages in the back. But overall, I like this. I don't think that it magnetizes as well as I would have hoped. So I'm hopeful that if you do like a DIY one or use one of the other binders on Amazon, it may work a little bit better. But I like that it came with everything, and that it kind of sparked the idea, because I had never thought of doing a vertical binder. And one of the reasons that I liked this because it was vertical, so it sits on my counter better. I will say that it's kind of backwards, because if you set it up, like if you open it from the front, like this is the front. If I open it from the front and I flip the order that I have my pages in there, it doesn't, oh, it does angle better. Oh, well, it was me. Well, that was dumb. I was the reason it wasn't magnetizing. I was using it backwards. It's supposed to go this way. Let's take everything out and I'll fix it real quick. Okay, so yeah, it stands much better now. So it stands like that, and it's at a nice angle, and it's sitting much better, and it's flipping easier. So totally my fault. All right, so that is my little share. Like I said, you can buy ready-made like this, and I like the fact that it came with everything, and it's really cute. But I'm mostly excited that it sparked the idea of the vertical binder, just because that's easier to use while I'm cooking. Because in a regular binder, it's just laying flat like this, or I have to have one of those recipe stands, and they're wide and they take up a lot of room. But because this is vertical, like width-wise, it doesn't have as large of a footprint, and then it sits at a nice angle so I can see the recipes while I'm cooking. So I really like the idea of this. Now, I don't know if I like the pre-made one as well as I would like a DIY one, but I do think it's pretty, and I like that it came with everything, and then I liked that it sparked the idea. But that's my share of the recipe binder from Target and Tabitha Brown. I just wanted to share with you guys, talk to you guys about how we keep our recipes and things like that. If you have any questions or comments, please don't hesitate to put them down below, and I will definitely get back with you. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this share. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss future videos, and don't forget to just scribble.